Welcome back to Mustache Moto. It's Ben. This morning we're headed out of Parry Sound, Ontario, and we're headed south. Today we're headed south, and I was a little more careful on the road selection today to make sure we're not going to get on those big highways unless I need to just, at the end of the day, I might need to hop on one to finish up the trip, depending on where we're at. But we're not going to get stuck on them by accident. It should be back roads today, so that'll be a lot more fun. Let's get on south. Just to give our trip today some kind of a structure, at least to start off, I picked a historical spot that I want to go see down the road here. It's a couple hours, probably 2 hours ride, because we're going to do smaller roads. And that'll give us something to check out. We haven't done any real history on the trip, and I think it's pretty interesting. So I'll tell you more about that when we get there. Yeah, does look like some rain ahead, maybe still. What the heck? Ooh, you can see those raindrops coming down. All right, I gotta pull over and get some gear on. Eesh. I mean, all right, we got to pull over and put some rain gear on. It's sunny and it's raining. Where am I going? You know what? Forget it. I think I'm going to chance it. Now, I'm going into the dark cloud, but it's not very big. How long is it going to rain for? Do I feel lucky? I think we skipped the rain gear. It stopped. It got dark and it stopped raining. Be an interesting day. This is pretty awesome. I kind of feel like I'm going through a park. Whoa! They like these little drops. Wildlife area. There's snakes here, it says. Maybe it is a park. Or a conservation area of some sort. I think I picked a good road today. Gravel. That is a conservation area. Check this out. Church of Our Lady Anglican Cemetery. It's interesting. The church looks like it faces the woods there, or it's just boarded up. Let's take a picture. This is incredibly beautiful. I think this should be marked as a scenic byway. Although if it was, maybe there'd be too many people here. It's kind of nice being nice and quiet. Cool. Single lane bridge. Got a stoplight, so it swings back and forth. They call it swinging bridge. So you go one direction to the other. Very cool. Man, somebody laid down some long tracks there. I just ran into some rain. I'm gonna keep pushing on though. I don't think it's gonna last long and get me soaked. We'll find out, won't we? Take a chance. It's kind of spotty. Clouds cover, so I think I'm just gonna be running into these every couple minutes. Well, a few minutes of rain every once in a while, I should say. A couple minutes of rain. I don't think it's going to be continuous. I don't think it's enough to put all my rain gear on and then stay hot. We're headed into the town of Edgar in Oro. This is where I wanted to head, and the interesting thing about this area is, so after the War of 1812, the British were afraid that the Americans were, regaining some power, and they might invade into Canada. Well, this area was a very important supply road, but it was unsettled. So what they did is they granted free land to African American veterans. So the community here was actually settled starting right after the War of 1812 into the 1830s with African American veterans, which is really, really cool. And we're headed down the road here to an African Methodist Episcopal Church that was built, I think it was 1831, and it's still standing. So hopefully there'll be some interpretive information there to learn a little bit more about it. But that's pretty cool. There's also was talk, this was the northern terminus of the Underground Railroad. So, in the slave days in the United States, people would take, follow the route of the Underground Railroad to escape and get up into Canada. And they say this is as far north some of them actually got, although most of them settled closer to the border. There it is. I'm going to turn around here. Let's park. Dedicated to the memory of the black pioneers who settled in this area, the first settlers were soldiers of Captain Runchy's company of colored men who fought the Americans in the War of 1812. The next wave of settlers, the freemen from the northern U.S., they initially settled in Wilberforce Street, on Wilberforce Street, line number 1, worshipped in this church, and were buried in this and nearby unmarked cemeteries. It is with the highest esteem we acknowledge the challenge they accepted, the contribution they made to the development of the community, and their unique spirituality, commemorating a 150-year anniversary of the Heritage Church. So this actual church was built in 1849. It's pretty awesome. I think they got a time capsule in there. So a little bit of history there. That's pretty cool. The fact that there were African American veterans, black veterans, that settled here that early. They were given the land, and it must have been a fairly good place to stay because people joined them and continued coming. So that's pretty sweet, and something I didn't know about Canada. I mean, I knew like freed slaves ran away to be up here, but I didn't realize it went back that far. They were actually handing out land to them and helping them settle. Of course, there were reasons for it too. They wanted to kind of secure that route, and having people there would help do that. But nevertheless, very cool. All right, we're gonna head into Parry, something like that. The town down the road, I think fairly sizable. Get some lunch. It's about 12:30 now. I'm starting to get hungry. good morning of riding. That was some great roads. I really like going through that sanctuary or conservation area, whichever it was. And then seeing the church there, very cool. I just wish, boy, I wish we could have run into somebody from the community there that could actually tell us, give us some oral history, or if they'd have been having a worship service, something like that would have been amazing to see. Oh well, you never know. You just kind of show up and see what happens. Alright, I know I shot some hay bales yesterday, but that's pretty awesome as far as you can see. Let me just pull over here and see if I can get another shot of that. I guess about maybe 1/3 of a pound, something like that. You guys smoke it here?
Yes.
It's pretty good?
Oh yeah, I love it.
Is that gonna be too much? How much is it?
This is half a pound.
Yeah, it's more. I don't have any way to keep it cold on the bike, so.
This is good for 2 weeks in the fridge, 5 days out of it. You don't need a...
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, totally fine. It's actually better if you get it out, leave it room temperature, get it.
All right, this is absolute deliciousness. I mean, smoked salmon on crackers. It's so good.
Okay, so I spent way too long screwing around trying to figure out where I wanted to go, what I wanted to do, with no real, you know, excitement in any of it. So I think I'm headed straight to Niagara Falls, Ontario. There's some cool stuff there I want to check out tomorrow. So I just plugged it in. I'm gonna go ahead and sit on the interstate for about 2 hours, pay the tolls for the toll road just to get there, because really I could go around Toronto, but it just adds time. I don't think it's going to be anything super exciting, so I'm just kind of going through middle of the province stuff. So we're just gonna sit on here for a while, get down the road, and maybe do something once we get there. You know, I don't know if I'll get all the way to Niagara. That's kind of the tentative idea, as always, but it gives me at least a point to get towards and hopefully get through Toronto before traffic gets too bad. It is 3 o'clock, so it's only going to get worse. I just pulled off the highway for a minute. I wanted to check and see if motorcycles were allowed in the HOV lanes in Canada like they are in the United States, or at least in Georgia. And they are, which is awesome. That could save a little bit of time. And then I thought, you know what, let me check and see if my Easy Pass toll transponder works up in Canada, because I know it's reciprocal with a lot of places. It's not. But when I was checking that, I saw a little note, caught my eye, that said that the tolls on this toll road, 407 I think it is, are extremely high, and it suggests that you actually go onto this website and check to see how much it's going to cost you. So I plugged it in, and it looked like the toll was going to be about $50, and I don't know if that includes the fee for paying by mail and the fee for using the cameras. So, you know, it only saves a half hour. I think that would have been a rude awakening. I'm glad I checked that, because that's just too much. So we're gonna I just reprogrammed, so we're not gonna avoid tolls anymore. I'm sorry, we are gonna avoid the tolls, and we'll just go through Toronto. So I do like to stand up when it's real bad traffic. 1, you get better view. 2, you get a lot more airflow. And 3, I think other people see you better. So, and you can go slower. You can go down to 2 miles an hour, maybe 1 mile an hour, and keep balance of the bike a lot better than if you're sitting. Right now, with it in the 90s, 91, standing to get the airflow is probably the most helpful. All right, HOV lane looks like it's going to be quite helpful here. Interesting to see if the arrival time changes much. It hasn't thus far, and that's a big difference from Atlanta. Atlanta, this time of day, traffic would be building even more, and you'd be getting later and later and later. There's minutes added on to that. And it hasn't substantially changed. I think it might have been 6:15, and now it's 6:19, which is pretty minimal. Alright guys, I am getting a little burnt from being on the road today, in the traffic, sweating, and just feel myself not being real sharp right now, which isn't a good thing. So I hopped off the highway. I'm gonna go find me a park and see if I can't jump in the water. How's it going, man? Anywhere around here you can jump in the water?
There's a beach way down on the right side.
Here in this park?
Yeah, you go down the stairs and like across the creek, you can get to the beach.
Okay, because it's hot.
It's hot.
So just park in this lot and walk down? Awesome, I appreciate it.
Where are you from?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Oh, wow.
It's a long ride.
Yeah.
How about you?
Here.
Here. Cool. Woo. I just came through Toronto and man, just sitting in the traffic.
Oh my God. Glad you made it.
It was kind of like Atlanta.
Yeah. Yeah, we're in a heat wave right now, so.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, let me go jump in and try and cool off. Thanks. All right, that was absolutely perfect. Jumping in the lake, Lake Ontario, made me feel 100% better. Feel sharp again and ready to do the last few miles, last few kilometers to get to garlic, to get to Niagara Falls and find a place to stay. All right, Niagara Falls. Holy shnikes. Nope. 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 I can't do it. What? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Wow. I couldn't do it, y'all. I was gonna stay in Niagara Falls. Just sensory overload. Way too many people there. Way too much going on. I mean, I need to go out and get some food. I don't want to deal with those crowds. I don't want to deal with that many people and that kind of restaurant that's catered to those people, to all the tourists. So I'm in Niagara by the lake, which is about 5 miles up the road, much quieter. I'm going to hop in the shower, get some food, and get some rest because I'm a bit beat. So here's my accommodations for the night. Not bad. And the guy cut me a little bit of a deal. Took 10% off just because I asked. And I'm out till tomorrow.